Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video today I'm going to do a little bit of a review on a piece of free software that's available. It's called the DJM Filter. It's available from Xfer Records Freeware, and that's Steve Duda, the guy who owns the Serum soft synth. Say that real fast. 7 times in a row. Well, anyways, you probably remember this project from last week. It's a little trance idea. And what I'm going to do today is show a little bit of filtering techniques and how filters are used to build anticipation, to create effects, etc. And actually kind of bring down the mood of the track at certain points, like, for example, into a breakdown, which I think I'll show you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with filtering these strings. I'm also going to work filtering the kick later on. So let me select a section here and give you a listen. Okay, so that would be kind of something that you would typically play around with the filter. What I'm going to do here is create a track stack. Actually, I'm going to, before I do that, I want to have a little bit more lows. So this part right here is not as bright a part anyways, but it has pretty good tonal quality that I like, as opposed to this one here is more of a brighter. So I'm going to duplicate this channel strip, which is what you do in Logic, is you go up here and that little plus with the two little like main page and the page behind it, you press that, then it reloads another channel strip with the identical settings. And then what I would then do at that point is copy all of the MIDI down to the new track. And it sounds exactly the same. So you're probably wondering, why am I doing that? Well, if I'm going to be doing some filtering, I want to have a little bit more lower information down scale from this part. So I'm just going to come up here and transpose down 12 semitones, which is in an octave. I'm going to turn that down just a hair. Now notice it has the same EQ setting as the original higher registered part, but that's okay. You can tell that it sounds lower. And I don't want to open up any more open the filter, because that's actually a filter too, that EQ setting right there. I don't want to let any more lows in that would fight with the kick. Okay, so now let's hear them all together. All right, so we have something to work with there. I'm going to create a track stack. Always a summing stack. Not always, but most of the time. So what that does is it creates a new channel that is where all of these other channel strips are fed into this main sum channel. I'm going to name this strings. Okay, now, since I'm going to be filtering this, and there's several ways to do this. There's a video from about 1.5 years ago where I showed a different way that could potentially give you more control. But for the purposes of today's video, I'm just going to go here. You've got this, and I'm going to drag over the reverb. I'm going to shut the reverb off on these two. So you're essentially going to have the same reverb setting. because I'm dragging from a reverb over that's identical on all three of the parts, and it's going to be applied to the sum channel, which is going to sound the same, basically. Okay, so now that I've got that, now this part is a little bit different. I think that I like the sound of it better I'm going to apply this filter now. Go to Xfer Records, and it's called the DJM Filter. I'm going to do it after the reverb. So now what I'm going to have is, now this filter is interesting. Let me go through it really quick. When you pass a certain threshold, this right here, this is like a big knob. You just put your cursor anywhere, your mouse pointer anywhere in this field, and you drag up and down. Now you'll notice that when it's right here, the filter's off. But when you start heading down this way, all of a sudden the low pass filter activates. See the light came on there? And then it will start low passing everything, which is a high cut, for those of you who are maybe a little new to this. So now I'm going to set it to right about there, and you'll hear the difference. Now notice it has resonance. It's turned up. When you instantiate this plugin, it's turned up quite a bit. So listen to this. So what I can do is I can turn that down, kind of adjust it so it doesn't sound so, doesn't scream quite as much, but you do want a little bit of that. Okay, so then what you would do is you would just sweep the filter up slowly to build anticipation. Like so. And then once you get up here, then the high pass filter activates, and then, so that's, then you'd want a little bit more resonance. We're going to get to all this. Then you would want a little more resonance, so that at the end of a phrase, say when you're kind of building up to kind of a transition to add a new part, and as the track starts building, you would kind of go like this. And you would adjust the timing and whatnot so that it would sound musical. So what I'm going to do is go in here, and we're going to do some automating. Let's actually open that back up. And so I think it would sound better if it's automated over 2 bars. And then I'm going to turn on automation. And I've got a little shortcut, which is Shift / and that toggles selected track to touch. So now all I have to do is come over here and touch this. And there's the setting. And let's see, I want to drag this down to, okay, I want to toggle that back off. Drag this down to about 500. 500 hertz should work pretty good. Then we're going to come up here, and we're going to bring this up. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so it's showing 0 hertz right there, which is kind of the no zone. You can actually go up a little bit higher. That's the area that's right there. So it's showing the state that it is in right here, okay, which is about, I think it's like 10,000, because once you get up to here, yeah, it's right at about 10,000 is where it gets into this zone. So then it switches into the high pass, okay. So I'm going to take this up. And so what you can do is you can come in here and do a automation curve tool. You can come in here and curve the automation a little bit. So you get this build. Now you heard that little filter sweep there. So what we can do is magnify this up a little bit. And you can play around with the rest of the capabilities of the filter. Let's see here. You can have a radical sweep up here. Play around to where you think it sounds good. That's probably going to work a little bit better right here. Now watch when I do this. The filter is going to go all the way up and switch to high pass mode. You're going to get a little sweep up. And so what I'll do is I'll kind of accentuate that with some more, with some more curving here. See how that sounds. Okay, so maybe just a little bit of a 1 beat ramp down here. Let's see here, let's just build it from right here. And then you wouldn't necessarily have to take it all the way down. You can take it back down to the no readout zone here. So you just play around when you're trying to make a filter effect like that. You just kind of play around with it until you get something that sounds good. Okay, and then what you would do is that you would get into kind of like the run-on section. Let's see here, is this in? Okay. Get into a little transition here, and then let's say you wanted to go into the breakdown. So then you would come over here and you would bring this right back down. And you might also, let's see, let's do this. Let's get rid of all these. Let's mute all those. You can come up here to the kick. You would put a filter on the kick. Open up automation. Okay, so you got a filter on the kick now. Then you would enable touch. Come in here. You'd bring the filter down. You bring the resonance all the way down. Put that back to read. Then you come in here. And you would bring the kick all the way down to where it's just nothing. Bring this up a little bit. Okay, right there. All right, let's see how this sounds. What I'm doing is I'm taking away all of the percussion so that it tells the listener that this is a big change coming up. We're falling into the breakdown, or whatever it is, whatever is coming along in the track, whatever you want. This is just giving you some ideas of how to let the listener know that a change is coming. So let's listen to this from the beginning. Another way to do that is to take away a couple kicks here. Where are we at? Right here. So let's mute a couple kicks. All right, here we And then what you can do over here is you can go back to the DJM filter and you can reduce a little bit of that resonance. So let's do that. Let's come back in through here. Because that resonance is a little bit much, so you can take that down quite a bit. See how much that is here. Okay. Take it down quite a bit. Take it down all the way because you don't need to have all that sound. And let's go back to read, switch back to filter. You can take this down even further. I didn't take it down quite enough. And throw a curve in there. And then let's drag a kick over here. To put an end point. Okay. And then what you would also do is kind of bring these nice strings in here, copy these over, and take this all the way to here. Come in here with the scissors. Whoops, scissors. Cut this. Then kind of shorten this up to kind of resolve it. So what you end up, and this is a scaled down short version that probably doesn't make as much sense that if it were more, you added more time to your track to let this all play out. This is all done in 16 bars, which is like probably one third of the time or a quarter of the time that you would have in an intro to a track. So and then you would be into a breakdown. So that's kind of how filters are used. And there are other things you can do with filters. You can have extreme resonance settings and then run that through distortion and get kind of an acidy type of sound with certain type of bass parts. And that's a subject for maybe a future video. If you want to get this filter, all you have to do is go to Xfer Records Freeware. Either Google that, and then you'll end up on this page and take it from there and have fun. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. or hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified for the next video. Thank you very much.